happy. Let me just turn this off. Gonna have this problem again. One moment, please. This is always fun, getting these things started. There we go. Yeah, the problem is if I have the system audio going back through my software, then it starts to freak out. Anywho, let me just make sure we are good. I always have to do a little bit of a tech check at the start. So I'm listening on headphones for the first song or so just to make sure everything is happy-go-lucky, and all the best of the season to everyone. Those of you who celebrate Christmas, happy Christmas. It's almost here. Those of you who do Hanukkah, I don't even remember what the dates were this year, but happy that, and Kwanzaa and everything else that happens all at the same time. So, and if you don't celebrate any of those, happy not celebrating any of those, but just the best of this time of year. It's a dark, snowy time of year in a lot of the northern hemisphere, and so it's always an attempt to bring a bit of light back to the darkest part of the season. We're finally having our first snowstorm of the year here in Windsor, Nova Scotia. How appropriate. So it's really coming down outside now. We had about 3 or 4 centimeters of very wet snow overnight. And I went out and shoveled it this morning, and then it was already freezing rain landing on top of it. And now it looks like big flaky snow again. It's Nova Scotia, we don't get a very typical Canadian winter. We get a very, very moody winter. We don't get a lot of heavy snow, but we get a lot of messy weather this time of year. But it's been really warm lately. We were up to 16 degrees the other day. So you can get days like that. A couple of Januaries ago, it got up to plus 12, while the rest of Canada was at minus 30 or whatever. Anyway, I'm just quickly checking people's comments before we get started here. Hi, everybody. Hi, Detlef and Maryse and Marton. A lot of Europeans here. Hi, Eula. Nice to see you there, all the way from Dresden. Let's see who's on Facebook. Barbara, hello. And Patrick and to the gang. All right, great. So every once in a while, I decide, every few Christmases, I decide to do a seasonal show. So I figured I'd do one this year. It was just a last minute idea. Just yesterday, I thought, let me do something online. It'd be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining. And I'm going to do a mixture of stuff. So I've got some things that I woodshedded very last minute today, trying to cram all this repertoire that I hardly ever play into my head again. And then, of course, if you have requests, go ahead and ask them, and I'll see what I can do. Already, I know Murray has asked for my version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which I really can't do. That was a full band version that never got released. I put it on my little stick, so if you have the USB stick, I put it on as a rarity there. But it was sung by a singer from a band called Hemingway Corner that used to exist back in the 90s, and I was signed to Sony. So that was a tune I originally recorded to be on a Sony album back then, but the tune never got released. So it was supposed to be on my Loaded Leather Moonroof album, but I was very happy to leave it off because it really didn't fit with the rest of the album. But it's a cool version. Al Cross on drums, David Woodhead on bass, me on guitars of various kinds, my late wife Kelly doing backup vocals and percussion. I think that was it. I don't think Matthew Fleming played on that. But hi, Steve in Jersey. Oh, that's nice. Glad you came to the show a few years back. Hello, Ron in Fort Myers. And Alexander family checking in. Hi there. So nice. Hi, Stealth Parrot. Nice to see so many people from all over the place. Really wide range of geography represented already. So I'm going to play a tune here. I'll keep the headphones, like I say, on for now. I tried all kinds of cool audio things that just didn't work. So I'm just going with the stereo microphone, and so I'm going to lower it and raise it. If I talk, I'll raise it. If I play, I'll lower it a bit. The first tune I'm going to play for you is originally from the Charlie Brown Christmas special back in the 60s. And I'm just going to see what I can do about this sound that Facebook... if anybody knows how to get rid of the little click sound you get when Facebook comments come in, I'd love to know about that because it's kind of loud. So let me just see if I can figure this out. If there's a way of... anyway, I don't see any way to adjust it right on the screen, so I never used to do that. Now it's been doing it lately, the last few weeks. So if you wouldn't mind just filling me in, if you happen to know how to get rid of that little click sound that happens when people make comments on Facebook, I would appreciate it. Or on YouTube, rather. I would appreciate it. Slow burn, eh, Mary? Why, you're asking for all the tough ones. I'll see what I can do about that. I have not played that in a long time. Notifications, eh? Notifications, but in, like what? In my system? Like on the computer? I'm on my computer. Mute the tab. I did that. Wonder what I can do about that. Well, not surprised to see you're alive. That's hilarious. Yeah, the rumors are not true. There are no rumors. I'll just try this one more time, just poking around, see if I can get this noise to stop. See now. Is it like I'm on Safari? Is it a Safari setting, or is it my system settings, or what is it? Just in general settings. Notifications. Notifications. Let's see now. And this is YouTube. That's making the noise. Yeah, I don't see that on. If I just turn my notification sounds off, is it in the sound preferences? Play sound on startup, alert volume, play sounds effects through. Yeah, I don't see there. The gear symbol. The gear symbol. I'm on a computer though. So yeah, there it is. The gear symbol. Got that. And I'm trying to figure out how to turn these noises off. And I don't see a way to do that in the settings. All right. Well, anyway, for now, you're going to hear a few little clicks and clacks when people make comments. And I'll start playing music. All right. So this is this tune by Vince Guaraldi and Lee Mendelson, and it's called Christmas Time Is Here. Wow, that was in the memory bank somewhere. Dusted off the cobwebs. So yeah, I put that on an EP a few years ago called Flake, and it's like 6-7 tunes, and then you can get it on my Bandcamp. I'll put this up so you can hear me better. You can get it on my Bandcamp. That's bandcamp.donross.com, and you can pick up that album, and also it's paired up with another album called Wintertide, which I recorded back in my Sony music days in the 90s, and there's a lot of family involvement. You can hear my daughters when they were tiny little kids talking on it, and then my late stepson plays didgeridoo on one tune, and my late wife Kelly plays harp on another tune. Great. Let me just see who else is here. It's, hey Afa, how you doing? Nice to see you. Old buddy from Germany. Jody, hello, and Bill, nice to see you, and Robert Hunter, hello. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. And hi, Patty. Hi, nice to see you there on Facebook. Happy Christmas to you. And Patrick, you like the fireplace. Yeah, the fireplace was a last-minute idea, too. Hey, Rachel. I looked for a royalty-free, Christmassy themed video that I could use to open the show, so I found that one. So anyway, it worked okay. Thank you very much. All right, maybe I'll play something not so Christmassy next. And just, of course, let me know if there's a special tune you really want to hear. If it's in, within memory range, I'm happy to play it for you. I don't have every single tune I've ever recorded at my fingertips at all times, but most of them are there, right? Hi, Eric. Nice to see you there. Thanks for joining us. First time on a stream. Very nice. All right. By the way, if you like these things, I mean, this is a concert, but every week I stream to my students from my online guitar academy, which is, I can never remember, here we go, because it's not mirror image, I always get mixed up, donrossguitaracademy.com. It was a pandemic project, and I did a whole bunch of lessons back there. I haven't done any new content for a little while, but my plan is with the next month off or so, I should be able to create more content for the teaching site. And it starts right at the very beginning, teaches you which end of the guitar to blow into, and then it goes into intermediate level stuff. If you feel like making a little Christmas, hey Don, thank you for the concert kind of donation, you can do that here at my PayPal. It's paypal.me/DonRossMusic. Okay. Hi, Jonas. Nice to see you. Or Jonas, sorry. Jonas Marchenko. You're in Canada. I call you by your more Anglo pronunciation, from Red Deer. Oh, great. I'm glad you're at the show in Red Deer. Katherine would be nice to play, wouldn't it? All right, I'll get around to that. Clim Bim, Rock Bara. Okay, I'll try to get some of these in. All right, so here's one that I know Yula, who's watching, really likes this tune. So this is for her, and not a Christmas tune at all. It's a tune I wrote during a really tough time in my life, and I figured I needed to write a happy tune. So I wrote this tune. It's called It's Fun Being Lucky, which was the title given to it by my then 9-year-old daughter. Yahoo! So you'll probably hear a lot of my early R&B influence in that tune. It's kind of very almost Stevie Wonderish at times, I guess. And yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of soul music and R&B. It all gets in there somehow. Thanks very much, Maton. And hello, who's that? Satire Fire. Wow, I haven't heard that one before. Thanks very much. Well, it's called It's Fun Being Lucky is the name of that tune. It's on an album I did in 2003 called Robot Monster. That's the name of the album. You can get it on the streams these days. Alrighty. So maybe I'll switch guitars and play another Christmas tune here. So this is really always an adventure because most of the guitars I play were made by a fellow named Mark Beneteau. Started working with him in 1997. But a couple of years before I started working with Mark, I had a really wonderful luthier in Ontario named Oscar Graf, who's originally from Berlin. He made this amazing 7-string guitar for me. So what happened was when I was very young, like a teenager, or yeah, probably just starting my undergraduate degree at York University in Toronto, there was a really great acoustic guitar store downtown called the Mill Wheel. Hasn't been there for a long time, but it was kind of the place to buy acoustic guitars in Toronto. And I went in one time and they had a Brazilian 7-string nylon string guitar, and I was really fascinated by it. It was, a regular 6-string guitar with an extra bottom string on it, so tuned really low. You can hear I've got this tuned to an A right now, but normally it's like if you tune in standard tuning, the top 6 strings are the same as standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E, and the bottom string is a 4th down from the 6th string, just like a lot of the lower strings are all 4ths apart. So the lowest string is a B normally. So B, E, A, D, G, B, E. That's how that would be the standard tuning for a 7-string. And that said, I played it, thought it was really cool, and then years later, I had a little bit of extra money one summer, and I talked to Oscar and I said, well, can you make me a 7-string guitar? So he made this really beautiful instrument. He even inlaid my name on it. Where is it? Here, you can sort of see it. Whoops, way up here around the whatever fret that is, the 19th fret or something. There's my name in brass letters. It's very nice. Little ego trip there. Yeah, so Oscar Graf, he still makes guitars. He lives near Kingston, Ontario, in a town called Westport. That's where he lives these days. Eula and I played the festival, the Blue Skies Festival, which happens on the land that he used to own. And we went and visited him, got to speak both English and German for an hour or two. So, Maryse, I noticed that you're watching from France. So this will be a tune you probably know. I grew up in Quebec, so we had a lot of the same Christmas tunes that you would have heard in France growing up, as well as all the English ones as well. I just changed a few strings on this guitar, so it's going to be a little bit funky for tuning probably. We'll see how this goes. This is one of those ones that I jammed back into my head just an hour ago. So this is called Bring a Torch, Jeannette Isabella, or in French it's Un Flambeau, Jeannette Isabella. Or Isabelle, perhaps. Let's try to get this down. Here we go. Yeah, had to leave the variation out on that one because I couldn't remember it. Anyway, yeah, nice little sweet tune. Usually it's done like a sort of a 6/8 rhythm. I turned it into more of a 3/4 rhythm. And I remember the day that I recorded it for the my Wintertide album back in the 90s. Back then, the studio availability at Sony was really limited. So I would usually find out either late the night before or early in the morning, hey, Don, you can have the studio today. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was working on this Christmas record, and sometimes I would find out at like 8 in the morning that I got the studio for 10 o'clock. So I would quickly work out an arrangement and then run in and record it. It was silly, but that's the way it worked. All right. So I'll get back to request time here. Thanks very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a bit messy, but it was fun. Thanks, Detlef. Let's see what people are saying on Facebook. Don't want to neglect you guys. Let's see now. I'm going to get this window a bit bigger so I can see your comments a bit better. All right. So, whoa, there's lots of them. Simon, hi. It sounds great. You were my most inspirational guitarist in my teens. Aw. That's sweet. Thank you very much. Carrie, you're welcome. Heather, yeah, nice to catch you too. Chance, very nice. Thank you. Deborah, hey Deborah, nice to see you there. Deborah came to the guitar weekend that I did in Ontario last summer. Love your stories. Okay, thank you. Hi John Hildreth, nice to see you there. Oh, you were just listening to the album. Awesome. Yeah, that one is a bit hedgesy, isn't it, Phil? And you want to hear Kihiwan? Wow, Carrie, that would be a memory bank killer, that one. Thanks, Patrick. Alrighty. That's a good idea, Satir Fire. Hi, Ryan. Yeah, I miss you too. I live down the road now, so I know you're up to your elbows in kids and dogs, but we've got to make a date to have coffee. All right. So this tune I wrote a long time ago. It's really interesting. I've been at this long enough now that there are tunes in my repertoire that I wrote over 40 years ago now. Isn't that nuts? This tune is from 1986, so what's that? 38 years ago. And it's on my very first album, the album called Bearing Straight. But I've re-recorded it a couple of times as well. I did a baritone version on Huron Street and a full band version on an album called This Dragon Won't Sleep, which you can get on my Bandcamp. I did it for Sony, but then they, after I left the label, they never did anything with it again. So it's there on my Bandcamp. And I know a lot of people like this one. So this is called Katherine. It's dedicated to my late aunt, Katherine. Yahoo. All right, noise. There we go. Getting caught up on the comments. Glad you enjoyed that one, you guys. Thanks very much. Lots of nice comments. Yeah. Well, you're welcome, Stealth Parrot. I'm glad you liked that so much. Marton, that's very sweet of you. I won't say what he said. It's just it's embarrassing, but it's very sweet. Ed, I'm sorry we didn't catch you in California. I just toured down there with Yulia Milishka. Did I don't know how many shows we did in California? 5, maybe. A lot of requests coming in for things that I can't play anymore. The Concierto de Aranjuez. Wow. Ça serait presque impossible à faire Digital Games parce que c'était un morceau que j'ai appris juste pour un concert en Allemagne en 2010, je pense. Alors, ça fait 14 ans depuis la dernière fois que j'ai joué. Alors, ça ne serait pas possible aujourd'hui, mais je pourrais faire quelque chose d'autre pour vous, si vous voulez. Who else is saying nice things here? That is the 7-string guitar that I used on Meanwhile Road and Give Me 7 Reasons. Indeed, was that guitar that I was just playing. All right, I see other nice requests here. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow, you're asking for such cool tunes, some of which I just can't play anymore. Somebody asked for Rock Barra as well. I'd love to play that, but man, that one's really tough because it's the tuning is just impossible. But John Hildreth, you'd like to hear Sebrite. So it's a new tune. I'll play it for you. Get something newer in there. So a year and a half ago, I released an album called Water. And there's a cool collection of stuff on it. Some solo guitar tunes and then some collaborations. There's a collaboration with Bruce Coburn on there, with Brooke Miller, with Sean Hall. And isn't that funny? Sean Hill was the bass player I did my very first gig with. But this is Sean Hall. And the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra is on one tune. The Atlantic String Machine from Charlottetown is their great string quintet. So I got my orchestration degree put to good use on that album. I wrote a lot of orchestration for it. And Michael Manring plays on a Jaco Pastorius cover that I did. So it's a cool record. And I wrote a lot of the new original music for it when I was living in a place called Sebrite, Nova Scotia. Now I live in Windsor, Nova Scotia. But Windsor is in the area called the Annapolis Valley, sort of north and west from Halifax. And Sebrite is more south and west from Halifax, along the South Shore. Incredibly beautiful place. So the Ninth Ring of Saturn tuning compared to the last one. And like I say, this is on the Water album. All right, sounds like we're in tune-ish. This is called Sebrite. New ending. Robert Hunter, yes, the answer book is still available. Yeah, it is. Wrote that book 30 years ago. It's still available. Hey, Pat Ang from Ottawa says hello. Please say hello back to him if that isn't Pat. It says it's Great Big Pete, so I guess it's not Pat. Peter, hello. Thank you very much. I'm working my way back up through the... Aria, your husband took you on a first date in Halifax to see over 20 years ago at the Cone. Aw, isn't that sweet? That's lovely. Skylar, I think I can do one of those for you. Axel, bienvenue, de rien. Martin, tell us about your plans for 2025. Well, there's a tour in Germany for sure, happening mostly at the beginning of March. And then a tour of Canada, mostly Eastern Canada, in April. And both of those will be with Yule. And after that, things are kind of still open-ended. The agent is still working on a bunch of stuff, so don't have a lot of announcements for next year, but there'll be things always come in like crazy right after the holidays. Everything kind of gets booked then. Thanks, Bernd. That's lovely. Thank you. And let's see who else is... Great. Let's check Facebook as well. You're welcome, John. Tina, I've been listening to me since the 80s. Really love your music and your incredible playing. Aw, sweet. You live in the Annapolis Valley as well. That's wonderful. Any chance of hearing you play? Yeah, I'm trying to put something together for April for either Windsor or Wolfville. Wolfville is probably more likely. I was supposed to do a show at the Al Whittle Theatre back in September, but it got canceled. The presenter had a death in the family, so couldn't do it. But we'll do it soon. Hey, Kate, nice to see you there from Chico. Improvisation in D minor, eh? We'll see about that. Okay, just getting caught up. Lots and lots of nice comments. Cool. While I'm in this tuning, for those of you who play guitar, I'm in open C tuning, except I have a D on the D string. So it goes C, G, D, G, C, E. More typically, open C tuning has a C on the fourth string, so it would go C, G, C, G, C, E. This is C, G, D, G, C, E. All right? But I'll get into open C tuning for this next tune, this little Christmas tune. And I'm pretty sure this is an old English tune. Here in Canada, the sort of the three major superpowers of Christmas are France, England, and Germany. And you sort of grow up, especially if you grew up in Quebec like I did, you heard music from all those three European traditions. And hopefully later on I'll get to play something from the Indigenous Canadian tradition. So this is the First Noel done in my kind of silly style. Alrighty. So, a lot of people are asking for Clim Bim. So I better do it. Because there's at least 10 of you have asked for it already. So, I'm going to have to retune. It's in a horrific tuning. I was already complaining about Rock Barra being in a bad tuning, but this one's worse. Nice to see you there, Carlos. Hi. Let's see now. Jeannette. Isn't it nice to hear from you? Hello, Jeannette. Nice to see Nobet from Nürnberg. Fantastic. Wow. You're really the world is well represented. Speaking of Germany, really saddened to hear about what happened last night in Magdeburg. Really shocking. Just played there last year, so it's I know a lot of those towns really well. So there was a similar incident in Berlin years ago, and Berlin was like a second home for a while there. So feeling very emotional about all of that, and very sorry to hear about what's happening. Remember, the best reaction is not hatred and racism. The best reaction is to work for a more peaceful solution to working together and living together. Can't let fanatics and people with hate in their hearts ruin a very special time for everyone and make people scared just to live their lives. It's not fair. So, Clim Bim. Clim Bim is a German word. It doesn't sound like one. I never thought it sounded much like a German word, but I'm not sure what the etymology is. But when I was first learning how to speak some German 30 years ago when I started touring there, I was in Berlin and I was fascinated by this. I just saw somebody put a shingle outside their store, and I looked in the store, and it's like a whole lot of like curios and knickknacks, and hard to tell the difference sometimes. Anyway, and so I went back to my friend's place, my friend Hannah, who didn't speak much English, which is good because I was learning German quickly by having to be in a very German household. But I said to her, Hannah, wie heißt Clim Bim auf English? You know, what is, how do you say Clim Bim in English? Just in case she knew. And she went, oh yeah, Clim Bim, moment. And you can see her thinking, Junk? Junk. So I thought, great, because I had this new tune written, needed a title. And it's basically two little tunes that are kind of glued together. So for the guitarists in the crowd, the tuning is horrible. And I haven't been checking my tuner only because my battery just died in my tuner. So this is approximately a B. So there's a B, there's an F sharp, okay, a C sharp, an F sharp, another B, and an F sharp. So what you end up with is it's like a B chord, but it's not a B major, it's not a B minor, it's like a B sus2. So it's like a suspended chord. So if you put your finger here on the fourth string of the second fret, you get a B major chord. Very pretty. If you put it on the first fret, you get a B minor chord. And then if you leave it off, you get this suspended chord where it's neither major nor minor, right? And the nice thing is, like if you play the major chord, you can play that as a bar chord up and down the neck and get more major chords. And then if you look at the minor chord, whoops, you can play that as a bar chord up and down the neck and get minor chords. So if you want to go through the key of B, is B major, C sharp minor, D sharp minor, E major, F sharp major, G sharp minor. Okay, and I'm skipping the 7 chord because everybody does. All right, so that gives you the chords in B, and then the second half of the piece is in D major, which is kind of like a modal shift. It's like you're going from B major to B minor, and then you're playing in the relative major of B minor, which is D, and the same thing applies. There's a D major chord, F sharp minor, G, A. Okay, and then I use this pivot chord, A, to go back and forth between the two keys. So that's a very quick summary of the theory behind the tune, which is kind of the way I think when I'm writing. And the tune is called Clim Bim, which means junk. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one. Bass Metric Studios is asking, have I ever tuned the D string up 3 semitones to F? Whoa! No, I have not. I've tuned it as high as E. And I still do. I tune it to E for a piece called Any Color But Blue, and another one called Tochigi, but not to F. No, I don't think I would dare. That's asking a lot of a D string. Let me just see what else people are saying here. Love that mode change no matter how much I've listened to it. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a nice little surprise, isn't it? Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying the sound of the guitar. Mark Beneteau, great guitar builder, by the way. And I should remind those of you who are in Ontario, in Southern Ontario, in the Toronto area, I have a gig today is Saturday. It's a week from today. It's on December 28th at Hughes Room Live. Okay, so that's on Broadview Avenue, just south of Gerrard, close to the Eastern Chinatown. So come on down. It'll be a lot of fun. I do this show. It's a tradition I've had since 2002, and of course took a few years off for COVID, but we revived it, I guess, last year, or maybe it was just last year was the first time in a long time that I've done the between Christmas and New Year's show. And it was really lovely. It was a nice crowd last year. So doing it again. It's always on the 28th of December. It's kind of a tradition. I don't do any Christmas music at it. I just, this year I'm doing it as an all request show. So anyway, if you're in Toronto or in the area, please come next Saturday, 8 o'clock, Hughes Room Live. You can go to hughesroomlive.com and the tickets are there. Okay? There's that little bit of advertising. Another living legend, Donnie Tune. 20 plus years of Clim Bim making it feel like things are going to be okay. Aw, that's lovely. Thanks, Froskar. You're a valley goer, are you, Curtis? That's wonderful. Yes, thank you. Wow, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it so much. Hello from Dalhousie, Scotland. That's lovely. Or do you say Dalhousie? Or do you say Dalhousie? There's so many ways of pronouncing that. In from the Cold. Oh, wow, Janet. I'd love to play that tune. Let's see if I can remember it. Okay, I'll do my best. Probably time for just this tune, and then we'll close out the hour. So, got a few things coming up in the new year. Oh, yeah, Martin, you're asking about plans in the new year. One of the things I'm doing is I'm going to be taking part in a guitar workshop in Germany, and it's Yule, you may have to I may have to ask you to put some details on the comments if you're still watching. It's June 5th through 9th, I believe, and it's at a location. It's this kind of cool place, like a retreat center, just south of Berlin. So that's June 5th through 9th. It'll be me, Yule Milishka, and why can't I say his name? It starts with an S. It is, wow, I just drew a complete blank, having a senior moment. Yes, thank you. Silvio Schneider is the name, person I'm trying to remember. So Silvio Schneider, Yule Milishka, Don Ross, we're doing a 3-person workshop, and it'll be a lot of fun. And Yula's getting the info there in the comments on YouTube. If you're watching, yes, thank you, I finally remembered. So that'll be happening, and I'm also planning to do another residential guitar workshop in Canada. Last year I did it in Southern Ontario. I hope to return, but the dates might not work out. So there's a fantastic place here in my town where I live, Windsor, Nova Scotia. I'm thinking of approaching them to see if I could do it there. So might be sometime next late summer. We'll see. Hi, Steve. Steve Silva, transported from the Quebec City Guitar Show. Awesome. Nice to see her, Sunshine Flyer. Yeah. Let's see if this is even close. Okay, so here's another tune from the mid-'80s. I don't know how well I'll remember it, but I love the tune, so it's nice to dig it out of the memory bank. And I wrote the tune. My late wife Kelly, she died now, gosh, 23 years ago. But this is about the night I met her. She was singing in a club in Toronto, and it was really cold out. And I went with my little brother, sight unseen. We didn't know anything about who was playing. We just wanted to go hear some live music, and she was performing, and it was wonderful. And then we got to know each other after that. So the tune is called "In from the Cold." Like I say, it's pretty rusty, so we'll see how this goes. One more time. Here we go. I think I just warded off Alzheimer's for another 5 years. There you go. Glad you enjoyed that, Janet. Yeah, thanks very much, everybody. It's been wonderful. I'll try to quickly deal with so many of your lovely comments here. Okay, let me just see quickly. Oh, thin air. I would have loved to have time. I've got to sort of call it now. An hour is about as much as I can go on these streams before the wheels fall off. And great. Okay, well, there's a lot of technical talk there about moderators and stuff. So many tunings. The man of 1,000 tunings. That's me. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Ryan. And wonderful to see everybody here. Yeah, another little bit of commercialism. If you have a project that you've been recording, I'm a very good mixer, and I can mix in stereo and also in Dolby Atmos. You can probably see some of the speakers behind me. Maybe you can't. But there's even like, here, I'll do this. There's even overhead speakers in here. So I'm fully equipped. Let me just see what I'm shooting here so that I can see what I'm actually pointing at. So there's some overhead speakers. Those are the rear overhead speakers. And then here's the forward overhead speakers there. And then there's a whole pile of other speakers around me. As you can see, they're behind me and beside me. And then there's a stereo. Those big ones are for mixing in stereo. And then I can test things by streaming them on Apple Music through that big preamp there. Anyway, I can do mixing for you in stereo and Dolby Atmos. And streaming services like Apple Music are actually incentivizing Dolby Atmos mixes by paying higher royalties for them. So Dolby Atmos, if you don't know what it is, it's an immersive audio format. For mixing it, you really need to mix it properly on speakers. You can do it on headphones, but it's not the greatest. It's better to do it on speakers. But you can listen back on headphones. And like, for example, I have a pair of headphones here. These are Apple AirPods Max, and they have the chips in them for decoding Dolby Atmos streaming from Apple Music. And so it's kind of amazing. The experience is fantastic. It's the closest thing you can get to like a three-dimensional music experience. Much more like being in a concert hall or being in a room with other musicians. Some people think, well, why would you want to hear things in more than just two channels? But in real life, you hear in a lot more than two channels. You hear it bouncing off walls around you and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a good mixer. I did it. I do it all the time. I mixed and mastered my own. Well, I mixed my last album. I didn't master it because it needed a fresh set of ears. But here's a project I did recently in here. This is Yula's album called Seagull. Came out last year, came out earlier this year rather, and we mixed and mastered that here in my studio. And there's a Atmos version of it as well on the streams. So anyway, I hope you avail yourself of that. Just give me a message through my website. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. And really nice to see everybody. Happy Christmas, Toronto people. I'm there next Saturday, the 28th at 8 p.m. at Hughes Room Live. Guitar workshops coming up in Germany and Canada this summer. If you'd like to make a little visit to my guitar teaching website, it's there. If you want to say thanks for the concert, that's a nice way to do it, up here in this corner. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Nice to see you. Okay, have a lovely holiday season, and we'll see you again soon.